Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story. And y'all are eager to get this show on the road. You got the hype train up to
Oh,
level
thanks for the
3 here
gems,
before we
man.
even flip the switch. So appreciate all the cheers and the subs. That's awesome. As we are beginning to play the rare Monday night community campaign, we're playing Temple of Elemental Evil here tonight. This is, I think, the fifth session that we've done thus far. So this is very exciting. And hello to everyone over there on the Goodman Games official Twitch channel. We're being simulcast right now. They're giving us the host, so we appreciate that. So if you're watching over there, hello. Who we are. We're 20 Sides to Every Story. We're a Twitch channel and gaming community. Mostly, everything that we do is at some level boils down to tabletop role playing games. We do mostly D&D Fifth Edition, although we do occasionally flirt with other systems like DCC RPG. We do some Call of Cthulhu. We've gotten into some indie RPGs every now and again. So we do all sorts of things. I think we'll try anything once. But we're really excited to.
Whoa, thanks for the gems,
Thank you
man.
for the cheer. Whoa. The Bandhammer is out there and he's not letting up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Um, so we are very grateful that we are getting this opportunity to play Temple of Elemental Evil. This is the next original adventures Reincarnated that will be released in August, and we're getting the sneak peek here. So we're really grateful to Goodman Games for letting us play this content a little bit early and let you see what's in store if you're thinking about pre-ordering that and giving it a go. So. The other cool thing about this game is this is one in which you might find yourself playing in, and it's real simple to do so. Probably the easiest way to get in on the action is to join our Discord server. Put the link there in the chat so you can do that. Um, we're a very active community. There's people hanging out, talking about all sorts of nonsense, including our hobby. So come hang out with us in between the streams. But that is also where you'd be able to find the signups for these games. I try to run at least 4 of them each month, and it's just an open campaign. So you don't have to be here for every session. You Each one kind of starts out with a micro quest that you can go out on, and kind of ties together the whole world as we are visiting the village of Hamlet. So I always let our Patreon folks get in on the action first. But as soon as I exhaust their interest, I'll let anybody else that's on the sign up fill in the slots. And just about every game, we're able to pull few non Patreon people in. So come in and sign up and come have some fun with us. Without further ado, we're going to get right into the game. Um, so, our characters are all have arrived now in Hamlet. Some of these characters have had adventures in Hamlet. Some are just arriving, and perhaps taking the call to adventure and getting set to maybe meet up with Lord Rufus and the Wizard Burn, who are kind of the premier quest givers, the ones that are employing adventurers in Hamlet. Before we get into all of their story and set the scene up here, I think we'll go around and get our character introductions underway. So, players, um, please give us your character name, race, class, and maybe give us a little bit of a physical descriptor of what your character looks like, and tell us anything you want us to know about your character. And we've got some brand new characters with us here, so we'd be nice to them and let them go last. And we pick on. I'm gonna pick on Galileo first because he was supposed to be here today, so we'll make him go first.
I'm Galileo, and I'm a second level druid. Um, I'm on adventuring because um, he he decided against his family to take the Circle of Stars, and he's out adventuring, trying to get experience and prove to his family that the Circle of Stars is the way to go for a druid. So
All
he's
right.
he's a typical furbog, so he's pretty big in size, over 7 feet tall. So
All right. And we better resolve some of these things coming in from the chat. So Sith Lord Dave just redeemed by the DM a reroll. So I've got a reroll. Players, he plays both sides here. He also redeemed by everyone a reroll. So players, you each get one reroll that you can use at some point during the session. Roll comes up, you don't like it. Tell me you're cashing in your reroll, and you get a second chance at that.
That makes Dave better than Winston.
Was there any doubt? Just kidding, Winston, if you're watching. All right, let's go back over to the front of my screen here, and the next up we have Callie Hope.
All right, I'm Brian playing Callie Hope. Callie Hope is a tiefling sorcerer. A little bit of wild magic going on there. If the last session she played, she actually got bitten by a frog, a very large frog. Thanks, Winston. And so now she walks with a limp, and she has added a quarterstaff to her arsenal of things more to walk with than anything else.
Excellent. Next up we have the Witch's Sting.
Yes, the Witch's Sting is a a kind of mottled-looking half elf. He dresses fairly modestly and to blend into the crowd, but he is the right hand of the Temple of Weejas, or the left hand. It depends on, we don't judge. Well, we do. That's kind of his job. So he is a rogue of some uh, small skill, and has been sent off to kind of do the will of Weejas, as it is called upon him. So yeah, he is rogue. He has been in a couple of adventures inside of this area, and has walked away with a dagger stolen from one of these gnolls that have seemed to become such a problem in this area.
All right. Next up we have Dane Battlehammer.
Hi, my name's Dane Battlehammer. I'm the captain of the Battlehammer clan and a hero of the Third Orc War. Also, a Griffin Slayer.
It could have gone either way. It could have really gone either way, but it turned out
my God would
Dane
not
is a
let
Griffin
me
Slayer.
die.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have Snurb Big Boot.
Big Boutte.
Emphasis on the bootay.
Yes. So Snurb is a wee little halfling. He's a rogue. He grew up on the streets of Burbabonk. And he doesn't really talk about what exactly happened, but he made one of the local thieves guilds angry and had to get out of town. And so off to Hamlet he went.
All right, laying low in Hamlet. And next up we have Cherry.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I'll be playing Charnica, but you can call her Cherry. She's a 5'5" little red tiefling girl who is also a barbarian. She loves to make friends and is pretty friendly, but has some anger issues. So yeah, that's why she had to head away from home and find her own adventures.
Awesome. So this is the cast of characters that we have here tonight as we begin this 5th session of Temple of Elemental Evil. You all have answered the call of Sir Rufus, a knight in service to Verbobank, who has been tasked along with his partner Byrne, the most worshipful wizard of Hamlet, as he's been trying to get that to land. I don't think it's really taken off quite yet, but honorifics aside, these two have been charged with the construction of a castle in the town of Hamlet, a project that is just getting underway. They haven't even laid the foundation of the walls quite yet. But they're charged from the Viscount of Verbobank with the general protection and safety of the area. This is a very recent development. The locals here are not used to having the forceful hand of the nobility that live far, far away. They're not used to having that in their backyard. And so this intervention is the sense of guardianship is not really welcome, at least by some of the locals, some of the more vocal of the old guard of the town. The most recent event that has the ire of some of the residents of Hamlet is that they received a tax bill from Byrne, who we just learned in the last session is preparing to tax some of the people so that he has money to pay all these adventuring parties that he's sending out. And so the last adventuring party had some mixed feelings on whether they were in favor of this or not. But that's neither here nor there. These local affairs, they're beneath you. You've come here today to meet with Rufus about a matter more in line with your profession as an adventurer. You are now meeting with him in the tower where he and Byrne occupy this place, sort of a military style tower meant to watch over the town and garrison a small number of troops, a mercenary troop that goes by the name of Byrne's Badgers. So, a lot of vanity on Byrne. He wants to put his name on everything. But you're not dealing with Byrne today. You're dealing with the more humble Lord Rufus, and you are meeting with him in the main hall, where a large table has been prepared with ale and local delicacies such as crumble cake and gnomish goat cheese. Around the room, there's evidence of Rufus and Byrne's own days of adventuring, including tapestries that illustrate notable adventures that they went on, and trophies of their kills, which include a mounted head of a green dragon. Rufus sits at the head of the table. Let me pop up an illustration. This is actually an illustration that Cliff drew for the book. Where is he? There he is. There's Rufus. He sits at the head of the table, and he raises his cup, and he says, I thank you all for coming to meet with me today. Some of you were involved in the recent discovery of this map that were in the hands of a pack of gnolls that unfortunately were responsible for the deaths of some farmers, I understand. This news is regrettable, and I'm afraid not uncommon. The outlying farms have faced numerous hardships at the hands of bandits, and now this news that there are gnolls taking the lives of these folk, it is something that I would very much like to look into and keep from repeating. This morning, I received further distressing news that 2 of the village's militia have not returned from their watch. He just shakes his head, almost in sort of an I told you so kind of way. This local militia is untrained and overworked. After long days working their fields or plying their trade, they go out and patrol the night. This is their way. This is what they were doing long before Byrne and myself came to Hamlet. And now that we are here, we can assuredly take control of the security situation here in Hamlet. But I have asked Hroth, the leader of the local militia, to cease these practices, but they are stubborn, and they have their pride. They don't wish to cede the responsibility of looking after the roads in Hamlet to us. So we have to do something proactive to try to uproot these gnolls. The map that you provided indicates that they may be planning something, an attack of some sort against our town. It may be that there's something that we could do about it, but I don't know precisely their numbers or their location. And I have no one that I can spare at this time to go out and search for it. And that is where you come in. I would like to contract with you that you might be able to use the map that was recovered from the gnolls and see if you can't find them. Get me any information that you can about them, their numbers, where they're located, anything that you can at all that might give us some assistance in planning our next steps. My
And what
proposal.
is the wage for this?
Well, I'm able to pay you 300 gold for this task.
Well, that'll make me back the 50 gold that I just paid you, so I think that sounds fair.
That's 50 gold more than I have now.
Well, and if you are able to provide us good intelligence, I am sure that we can secure for you follow-up tasks and jobs related to. We're going to need all hands on deck if we were to deal with these gnolls. Like I said, we have no idea their numbers. We at this point we don't know if this is a task that is within our capacity to deal with. It could even be that we might need to hire you out as diplomats. We may need to pull in some old allies to help us if the task seems beyond what we can muster.
So is our directive to just simply discover where they are and what their numbers are?
Indeed. I wouldn't ask you. I just given the sheer magnitude of the reports that we have gotten in, I'm to understand that a number of farmers did not make it to last week's festival, which seems to indicate to me that there are probably more sad stories like that little girl that you brought back out there.
So based on looking at the map, do we have an idea of what our good starting point is? I mean, the map that we were looking at, was that circle part in the middle of it, was that Hamlet?
Yeah, he would tell you that the piece right in the middle is Hamlet. He's interested in the circle with the X. He suspects that because all the arrows originate from there, he imagines that that's probably where they're launching their raids from. Although the map is very kind of drawn very ambiguous like, and so you could just wander out and try to find that on its own, but he's going to recommend that you maybe start if you could locate like one of the farms that was raided, it would give you maybe a lead or a more direct lead there.
Other than the one that we did, that we found this map at? So not go back to the same
You
farm,
could,
go back
but
to-
just remember how far away that was. You'd be going the opposite side of town and trying to circle back. So you could
Right.
do that.
I think we head west towards the circle with the X and maybe find a farm along the way.
Sounds like a plan.
Do you know what kind of things are out there as far as possible farms that might be in the area of that red X with the circle?
Well, based on what I understand about this patrol that went out last night, they went out west of town. This is a practice that I have told the locals not to do, not to tarry and wander too far out of town. But it would seem
They
that
wish to defend their own. There's nothing wrong with that.
well, they're untrained, and I understand the desire. It comes from a place of honor, certainly, um, but then we lose more lives needlessly when they don't leave these matters to the professionals.
And what is this to the east? It looks like there's a bunch of trees drawn. What's in that direction?
Well, that is the gnarly wood. Um, I can only guess what they may want to raid there, but it could be that they've gone so far as to try to harass some of the elves that live there.
Oh,
There are
that sounds dangerous. Those elves are vicious beasts.
Really, it sounds gnarly. Welcome
And a
to
thank
Dungeons
you
and
out there to
Dragons.
the chat. Thanks, Southern Gent, for the follow. Huzzah! Appreciate that.
So it sounds like we should probably head west and try to find the posse that went that direction.
Sounds like.
Sounds good to me.
Agreed.
Are there any other questions or things you'd like to talk to Rufus about before you maybe begin making your preparations or talking about next steps here? All right.
I think I've got all of the gear that I need for this particular exploration. So, nope.
So as you head out from the tower, and you'll see there's a bunch of tokens from the last time. I'm just pinging in the lower right-hand corner of the map. That's where you're located currently, coming from the tower that is on the one hillock. As you're descending from the stairs of Burn and Rufus's tower, you can look across and you'll see upon the other hill is where the construction crew is currently working in the very, very, very early stages of building this castle. And you can see there are pallets of lumber and masonry and tools and such all laid out. And you see it looks like construction has come to a standstill. There is something of a local protest that is happening. A number of the locals seem like they are intentionally kind of getting in the way of the workers and kind of mucking up their progress to get on with the day's labor. Many of them chanting protests to this taxation that is being laid at their feet. And just to get the magnitude of the tax that they're being asked to pay, it is a mere 10 gold for the entire year, and they're being asked to pay it a year from now. And so, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't a whole lot, and yet it is such a new practice that is being set upon them that just the mere the principle of being taxed by these nobles is very upsetting to them. So probably not something that you're eager to maybe get involved with unless you tell me so, but just sort of the local goings on as you're descending down off of the hill.
10 gold is a lot to some people. Not everybody is well to do. In other words, no, I don't want to get involved.
So, as you're coming down off of the hill together, and talking about setting out, is there any shopping that any of you need to do before you head out, or further planning you'd like to do before you set out?
I'm fine.
Okay. I have everything I need.
All right. So we will move you onto an overland map, and I'll explain a few things related to this. Oh, is that it? Are you all able to see the entire map? Or are you only able to see the comet and a little bit of light around it?
I see nothing.
Yeah,
Same. Nothing.
Oh,
Black
the
screen.
darkness.
Yeah, it's just a black screen for me too.
It popped up something really quick that said something about I don't have a token on that map.
Okay. Oh, let's see. How can I do this? Well, I thought this was going to work out real slick, but if you guys can't see the token, I don't know how to allow you to see it.
Alex, do you have our tokens on the map?
It's sort of a neutral token that I had on there to sort of serve as like the overland.
Oh, maybe if you assign the token to all players as observer.
Okay. Let's see. If anything happens when I do that. Okay. Maybe if I do this.
There we go.
You can see it now?
I can see it. Yeah, overland marker.
Okay. So, you're all heading out on foot. Basically, each hex is going to represent 1 hour of travel as long as you're going at a normal pace. If you decide you want to go at a quickened pace, you can move 10 hexes. You'll be at disadvantage on certain perception checks and survival checks and such. If you go at a slow pace, you'll be able to move 6 squares, and you'll have advantage on certain perception and survival checks as you're going
Is
along.
Callie going to slow us down?
For the purposes of like this overland travel, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Um,
Because I'm willing to buy a mule if he wants to ride on that.
I'm gonna say it's not gonna slow you down direct. Like you probably have to maybe travel just a little bit longer during the day, but it's not gonna slow you down so terribly much that it'll make a huge difference for big journeys like this.
We're already slowed
Okay.
a little bit by having a halfling anyways, so.
Brian, you might be muted.
Yeah, Kelly has a quarterstaff, so if you can try to keep up with everyone.
So, as you are emerging from town, you'll take kind of the road to the west, leading out of town. But that quickly will turn north to head back to Verbobank. And based on the map that you have, you probably know you're not going to be following that road. You're probably going to have to head out into the hills and the plains where the outlying farms are. So probably maybe we could have nominate one of you to be sort of the navigator to be moving your overland token as you travel through. The little bulb around your token will basically serve as your kind of visibility of the outlying area. Pretty soon as you leave town here, you'll be able to see that there are a number of farmsteads right outside of Hamlet. You get the sense that they are inhabited. You can see it's autumn. It's crisp, cool day. You're setting out right. It is. So let me reset my timer here because you're setting out. It's morning. About 9 in the morning. But you could see smokestacks billowing, probably with roaring fires inside the cottages and homes, and so these probably have not been harassed by gnolls this close to Hamlet.
Probably not. Shall we continue to the west? Who wishes to navigate?
Oh, you can. It's fine.
Was not volunteering, but I suppose I can.
You
Are we
asked the
following
question,
the-
so someone else has to answer.
Yes.
Following the road or just going over?
No, we'll go inland.
And so, how many hexes do you say we move in a day?
If you go just at a normal pace, you'll be able to do eight in a day.
8 in a day. So, how fast do we want to go? Normal pace or slow pace?
I think we can go normal. What about everyone else?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. What is that thing below us there? That mound is that?
You're going to start to see more hilly terrain here, and probably know that you're starting to head into the area known as the Kron Hills. Anybody who wants to could maybe do like a history. If you're proficient in history, you could do a history check as you're heading out into this area.
Not my area of expertise.
Oh, I am. 11. I'm not sure I know that much.
You probably just, in a very general sense, know that the inhabitants out here, there are gnomes that make settlements somewhere in the Kron Hills, but you probably don't know much more than that. And pairing that with what you heard from Rufus, that maybe he said something about needing to call in allies from some different places. He had mentioned gnomes, so these are probably the gnomes that he was referring to out this way. As you move into that hex right there, everyone can do a perception check.
And I'm trained.
Oh, boy.
It's not like my thing.
So, Snurb. Yes, Snurb. As you're passing through, there's sort of tall grass that you're not on a road or anything. You're just going over land, and you're probably at this point beyond where like the maybe the concentration of farmsteads are. You're getting pretty remote, and so there's a lot of like really tall grass. The occasional tree that you pass by, and then your horizon is just the landscape is the hills up ahead that you're steadily making progress towards. As you're walking, you feel like you cut, only because of how well you rolled, but your ears pick up almost like the sound of like wheezing or gasping somewhere out in this field of grass that you're kind of passing through. It's not real close by. You're guessing it's probably like maybe like 90 feet away. You almost like have to second guess because it was only a second that you heard it, but as you start to kind of focus your senses in, you hear it again. It almost sounds like someone who's struggling to breathe.
So which direction from where we're at?
It would be like within this hex. It would only be like 90 feet away. The hex represents roughly like 3 miles.
All right.
But you're guessing it's like to your south.
All right. So I keep walking because I don't want to give the whoever it is the impression that we've seen him or we know there. And I kind of just loud enough that the people right around me can hear, hey, there's something to the south of us that I heard. It sounds like wheezing.
Oh, there is a lot of pollen in here.
Yeah, they might have asthma.
Perhaps it's one of the injured people that they were looking for.
Should we go help?
Possible we should see
Absolutely.
if they need some assistance. Or if they're trying to ambush us, one or the other.
Nah, I've been through ambushes before. They're not that bad.
So it sounds like a number of you are wanting to go in the direction of that wheezing. Who all would that be?
Dane will.
Very too.
Ding.
Okay, Dane, Cherry, and
Yeah,
Sting.
Snurb will go along.
I will go.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking we'd all go.
Okay, so you all start to like make your way out in that direction. And you're all at this point. Snurb clued you in. You're listening, and you can hear it now as you're drawing closer and closer. And
Perhaps we want to fan out a little bit, in case it is an ambush.
sounds good. So you're all kind of on the ready, just in case anything wayward happens here. But as you draw in close to the sound, you spot up ahead, kind of like there's, a bit of the grass is kind of, been depressed down, and there's a body there with 2 arrows stuck into his back. Those of you that went on the great beer run of episode 2 maybe would recognize him. He was the drunk guy at the tavern that couldn't understand why he couldn't get more beer. So this is the Farmhand Veltor. And he's wheezing and breathing. You don't get the sense that he's really conscious, but he looks like he's alive. He's still breathing. But he's face down in the dirt. He has with him, laying near him, is a spear, a very poor quality kind of homemade sort of thing.
Well,
Can I do a medicine check on him?
Sure, absolutely. You're gonna try to see if you can mend this wound, and you definitely managed to safely remove these arrows. This happens over the course of maybe the next 20 minutes or so. But you remove the arrows and mend those wounds and manage to clot up the wound so that he won't be bleeding out at all. But he's still out of it. But you've stabilized him. You've saved his life. And as you kind of have been working on him, you've turned him over. He just has he's wearing his overalls and a little traveler's cloak that's held together by the clasp of a symbol, which I think, Dane, at this point, you've taken kind of an interest in the religions and such of Hamlet. It's a clasp. It sort of has that almost like kind of Celtic patterned look to it. It's a cross, but it is a symbol of the old faith.
Should we heal him, or we can't just leave this man out here?
He might have been attacked by the gnolls. He might know which way we could go.
also true. So that might be 2 good reasons to heal him, although that's beyond my capabilities.
And if we can get him healed, he could probably walk back to town, but otherwise we'll have to drag him.
Does anybody have healing magic?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast a healing word on him.
Okay. You cast healing word on him, and
Where the hell am I? Oh, go ahead.
the wound heals up. His eyes flicker. He kind of has sort of jolts to consciousness, sort of this fearful flittering in his eyes.
You're okay, boy.
Oi! Well, where am I? Still outside. It's daylight. Oh, I tried not to go towards the light. And here I am. Are you an
You
angel?
did a good job. No, we're not angels.
Are they kidding? Do angels have horns like this?
Where's your friend?
I don't know. I've never seen one. My friend.
There was two of you, wasn't there?
Yeah, the Albrecht. He's not here. With me? Were you able to save him? We were attacked by gnolls.
We haven't seen the other.
Oh, that must have gotten him. Oh, there were so many of them.
How
Where
many?
you guys
Many,
going?
like, more than right.
Must have been at least 4 of them. They came out of nowhere.
So you don't know which direction they went or came from.
I'm not sure. It's all so foggy. It happened so quickly. I told him it was a bad idea to come out this far. And you can see he keeps like kind of looking off to the west.
What you looking for, boy?
Well, if you're going out to look for him, maybe he's out that way.
Why do you say that?
I think we were further on that way when they came on. And you can kind of make an insight check. So, Cherry, you're probably inclined to just think like he's in shock and he doesn't know what he's saying. But Galileo and Sting, you're both kind of like he's stammering over his words. He's looking off to the west. He was planted face down with arrows in his back, and he was facing towards Hamlet. So you're getting the sense that he's ashamed. There's a strong sense of he's trying to cover something up.
So Snurb would like to look around and see if he can pick up either any tracks other than his, or at least track back the way he came.
Yeah. I'll say it's your call. If you want to do investigation or survival.
All right.
So you're looking at kind of where he plopped down, right? Like the grass there is like flattened out. His body must have been resting there for some time. You can see that through the tall grass, there's a little bit of it's some of the strands of grass are kind of split, almost as if he was running this direction. But you don't see any evidence that anyone else, other than the way that you all came, there's no evidence that anyone else was standing out in this field right here.
He possibly left his buddy behind, and that's why he's
Yeah, that sounds like. But
looking back that direction.
it's understandable. He's just a kid.
Well, I think we
Definitely in over his head.
leave him to his own devices to get back to Hamlet and check back the direction that he left his buddy.
Are you able to do that, boy? Can you make it back to town by yourself?
Well, I'm feeling right better with The magic that you applied my wound, it almost I don't even see. You know, he's like kind of feeling around at his back and where the arrowheads pierced through. Feel anything? Yeah, I think I could make my way back.
Very well. Off you go.
And like
Maybe you want to stick closer to town next time.
he nods and he's kind of hanging his head and he walks away about like just maybe 30 feet away, and then he stops and he kind of turns back and he says, You will find him.
No matter what state he's in, yes.
Okay. And he starts to trudge off in the direction of Hamlet.
To the west.
All right.
Are you able to follow his tracks?
I should have a halfway decent chance of following the tracks that he left, yes.
All right. See if
All
he
right.
can find his other friend. Probably dead, but
If you would like to hit up that survival check, you've got a little bit of a lead from what Snurb has picked up here.
Survival. Not the best skill, but it's worth a shot.
Absolutely. So Sting and Galileo, you're kind of maybe leading the way here. Snurb kind of points out what he saw, and that takes you out just to the hex. I'll move you right to where you're headed, right here. And up ahead, it leads you. I'm going to switch you over to another map here, quick. But it brings you to a cottage. And are you able? Let me know if this is loading okay and you can see it.
Loading.
just so you know, it doesn't appear that my spells are on Foundry.
Okay. We can figure that out at some point. We'll figure out how to make how to do it old school. But essentially, nestled in a valley created by these kind of gradually forming hills of the Kron Hills, you spot up ahead a deserted cottage and a ramshackle barn. The cottage has a wooden frame with wattle and daub walls and a thatched roof. And it appears, just looking around at the state of the farm, it's a very plain-looking barn with rough timber construction at the back. None of the farmland around it looks like it is all overgrown with weeds, and the rocks have pushed up. No one's bothered to clear any of that. This does not look like a farmstead that has been cared for, at least this season.
Do we actually see a petrified knoll on
Yep. Yep. 1 second. Let me get through. So you can see behind the house there is crumbling stone walls of a well. In front of the cottage, you see what looks like a knoll, but yes, composed entirely of stone. It is facing the cottage as you approach the property here.
Interesting. How do you wish to proceed?
Carefully.
So this kind of gazebo-looking thing that's that we see to the west of us. What is that structure?
It looks like it's sort of got this latticed kind of framing around it. It might be the kind of structure that like would grow hops that climb up on that.
So kind of a pergola set for viney things.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess depending on how the rest of them wish to proceed, I think I'm going to attempt to kind of circumvent the tree around the backside of the tree and try and sneak my way up to that viney thing to get a closer look without going into like an open line of fire.
Okay. Absolutely. Go ahead and move your token where your destination lies. We'll just kind of go around and I'll grab a kind of get a sense of what each of your individual characters are doing as you're coming upon the scene.
So I'm only seeing a black screen with my token.
Okay. 1 second. I'll fix that for you.
I don't even see the token. I just see the black screen.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, you'd be able to see this entire scene. So let me just fix that real quick. Okay. How about Dane?
Dane is going to follow to the
Okay.
vehicle.
Heading over that direction. Snurb.
So is the vegetation tall enough that I could hide and kind of make my way towards the cabin?
Probably not like directly in kind of the where like the entranceway to the house is, like here where the knoll is, but certainly there are patches of like overgrown vegetation and shrubbery and bushes and things around the perimeter here.
All right. I think I'd like to go to the north over here.
Sounds good. Cherry, what would you like to be doing?
How big is the knoll? Like, how tall are they usually?
This one is probably about 8 feet tall. He's pretty large. He's on his hind legs. What? Give me a perception check, quick. As you're looking off in his direction, you're kind of sizing him up. He doesn't have any weapons or anything in hand, but it does look like his left hand is holding something. You just see sort of a little bit of like cloth. It looks like ripped, tattered cloth that's sort of swaying a little bit in the light breeze. And it looks like there's also maybe kind of a second item there that he's holding on to. And it looks like some kind of maybe a necklace or a pendant or something on a chain that's being gripped in that petrified hand of his, which is not petrified. The objects in his hand are not petrified.
I'm gonna head over to the far side of the gazebo, trying to sneak over there.
Okay, you can go ahead and move your token over that direction. Galileo, what are you up to? I gotta put your token on there because I didn't have you on here. There you go.
Oh, there I can see the map.
What would you like to do?
He's really not going to. He's probably just going to stay right there and assess the situation. He's
Okay. And then Callie.
Kelly's very curious. She's especially curious about why there's a petrified knoll right there. So she wants to look around to make sure there isn't anything else in the area. And if it appears safe, she wants to try to study the petrified knoll.
Make a perception check. You're kind of assessing the farmyard here. There isn't anything you see like visibly like a threat or anything like that. It's this farmstead is kind of nestled in this little valley, so you're kind of looking up. This would be a great place to be ambushed. You're maybe a little bit nervous about that, but you look up, you don't see anybody watching you or anything like that. And then your gaze turns towards the knoll. Maybe give me an insight check as you're looking at the disposition of the knoll.
Oof, 9.
Hard to say. He's sort of leaning a little bit. It looks like he's facing the cottage. You get the sense that he's probably walking towards it with intent to enter or go there. That's kind of all you're really gathering from that check.
Okay, I'm going to approach him cautiously. Just move over there.
Yeah, you can move over there. And you're kind of like right behind him now, just over right behind his like left shoulder. So you've got a pretty good eye on kind of the dangling pieces that are hanging his hand, and it looks like a piece of cloth, and it looks like that emblem that you saw Veltor wearing. So it's a symbol of the old faith, and a little bit of like cloth material, very similar to the cloak that Veltor was wearing. Give me a stealth. You're kind of moving up there cautiously. Give me a stealth check as you move up. And as you move up there, you hear kind of these like bird-like screeches from somewhere up on top of that cottage, and you watch as these two cockatrices emerge from the other side of the thatched roof, and they're looking down on you and kind of squawking about, and that is where we'll hit initiative. So get you all on the combat tracker here. So go ahead. If you go to the second tab on the right hand side on the log, little fist, you'll have your combat tracker. Another helpful hint that I'm always reminded of is if you hit right click the combat tracker, little fist, you can actually pop the tracker out and move it around or whatnot. So you can hit the D20 next to your name and roll your initiative.
I actually don't see a D20 next to my name. I think I might have to do it the old-fashioned
It's
way.
there. No, it's there.
Yeah, just to the right.
I just floating kind of slow.
Yeah, it's not showing up on mine, but let's see. It rolled the die anyway. Got some pictures not loading, I think is what is happening. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's ever giving you a problem, usually a refresh of your browser will clear it up.
Okay. Let's do that.
Let's see. Did we get one from Callie?
Not yet. Let me see if I try rolling from
Oh no.
beyond 20. Oh, it's rolling. I rolled a 17.
Okay. Let's see. I'll roll it and then I think I can change it. You said it was a 17 that you rolled?
17, yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, so we're going to begin combat. No one is surprised here. So Cockatrice, the first one up, takes flight and is going to move down here like a chicken. It's this lizard bird-like creature. Kind of flies up and very angry, like it's screeching, descends down upon you, Callie, and is going to try to peck at you. 17.
I'm going to cast shield.
And shield will block it. So it's just like kind of flying and fluttering like just above your head. And that's where it ends its turn. Galileo, it is your turn.
Galileo's going to move about halfway here, and he's going to turn into his starry form. And he's going to shoot an arrow at the cockatoo, the closest one there.
Sounds good. Hey, Smitty, thank you for the cheer. Thanks for stopping by.
Alex, it won't let me back into Foundry now.
Yeah, same.
Uh-oh, having some Foundry issues, huh? Like, what's happening when you're trying to log back in?
So for me, it says this site can't be reached, and then it's got the site that you sent earlier took too long to respond.
I got the same thing.
Oh, no. Okay. 1 second. Let me just resolve Galileo's attack here because it looks like he's still in. Maybe.
I'm trying to
You're
figure
not
out
in?
how to.
Yeah. Are you still in?
Yeah,
Okay, click the damage button in the chat.
I didn't hit the attack button yet.
Okay, hit the attack button then. Okay, 17 will hit, then hit the damage.
And on a hit, he gets extra damage for the being in the starry form as an archer.
Okay. Sounds good.
So that would be, how do I do a normal roll here?
Click the damage button.
I did. Oh, wait a minute.
It hasn't come through then. There you go. So how much extra damage is it?
1d8 plus my wisdom modifier.
Okay. Do you know where the dice roller is? Just roll that.
Here.
Over on the left-hand side, there's the simple dice roller. Just roll what you need to, and then, okay, 8, and then what's the modifier on that?
2.
2. Okay, total of 14. It is still up. Anything else, Galileo?
No, that would be it right now.
All right. Looks like people are getting back in. There must have just been like a blip or something.
It just let me back in.
Okay.
Same.
Next up is Callie.
All right. Well, Kelly's going to cast. She's actually going to. That's fine. I'll just cast melee range. She's going to use her 2 daggers to attack, and then I think she can do the offhand attack with the other dagger. With them fighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first one will be a 17.
Ooh, is there a crit in there?
It wasn't with advantage, so it'd just be a regular 7. To be a 17.
Oh, okay. 17. 17 will hit.
And then this
6 points.
Yeah. Yep. So the second attack will not get the any bonuses on it, but I can actually do this. There we go. 23, so another 4 points. I think it's just gonna be straight up 4 points.
Another 4 points. Ooh, it is. As you kind of like you reach up and you stab it once with the dagger, it kind of comes flying. It kind of ceases flying and drops to the ground. There, you manage to get another one in it. It's kind of squawking and it's still trying to peck up now up at you. It's still alive, but it looks like one more good swing will probably take care of it. Cherry, it is your turn.
Sorry, the map is going all over the place. I'm trying to see where I am. So is that one still up, or did it just go down?
It's still alive and kicking. It's on the ground now. The other one is up on the roof of the cottage.
Okay. Yeah. So given that the gazebo is kind of in front of me, how, like, do I have to go around it, or
Are you looking to do like a ranged type of thing, or are you trying to get up there?
I'm looking to get up there. I'm just trying to figure out how close I can get.
Yeah, you could easily get up there because if you go 5, 10 in front of you and then you go diagonal, yeah, easily. You got plenty of movement.
So I'm just gonna try and get up to it. Does the kitty corner work, or do I need to get in?
Yep,
first
yep.
side?
You could
Okay.
totally swing from there.
All right, I'm gonna swing with my axe. Yeah.
All right. So now that it's in the chat there, you can hit the attack button that's in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Thanks.
Ooh, and it is a critical. So, you've got a choice here. You can either take the normal critical, which is you roll double the dice that you would need to for damage on that weapon, or you could roll on a table to see what the effect would be.
I mean, the table sounds fun. Let's go with that.
Everyone goes with the table. You got to gamble a little bit.
Gotta at least try it once.
Yeah, let me pull that up. Basically, you'll roll a d20 here. And let's see, an axe. What type of damage is the axe? Slashing?
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and on a 19, that's going to be... You chose correctly. Slashing on a 19. Dissected. You deal twice the maximum result of your damage dice.
Mm.
So what would that be? That would be what? Hand axe is a d6, is it?
Correct.
Yeah.
And what's your strength modifier?
It is. It's a +4.
Okay, so 20 points of damage. You just bring that hand axe down and whoa-bam. That's a decapitated lizard chicken.
Alright.
So 1 down, 1 to go. Anything else, Cherry?
No, I think I'm gonna hold off. I'm just gonna stay where I am.
All right. Well, the other one is not too happy seeing its mate get clobbered like that. So it flies down, and it's gonna come down right above you. It's flying in the air and trying to peck at your face, Cherry. So
Makes
a
sense.
bite attack. And I rolled an 8. I have a DM reroll. If I don't use it here, I don't know that I'm going to get a chance to do it, so we'll take it. A 19.
Alright. What's the damage?
The damage is 2 points of damage. But you'll need to make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw. Try to avoid becoming like the gnoll.
Oh shit. Sorry, which side do I click for the Constitution saving? The saving specifically?
You will click. I think if you click the attribute, you see like when you're on your the attributes page. If you click the ability, another window should pop up, and I believe it asks you like, is this an ability check or a saving throw or a. Ooh, you cleared it. It's a low DC, but nasty effect if it takes hold. And I heard something come in from the chat here.
Another DM reroll.
Another DM reroll. Thanks, Dave. All right. So that's the cockatrice's turn. Snurb, it is your go.
So I am going to take a shot with my short bow. Let's see.
Nice.
24 will hit, and you got sneak attack on that.
All right. And then weird.
I think
like sneak attack was there, but then now it's not.
is it? Do you see it under inventory? It's kind of weird the way it's laid out, but there should be a sneak attack icon under weapons in your inventory. And I believe if you click that, you can get it to pop up.
There we go.
Awesome. Yeah, and then you can hit that damage button in the chat. All right, total of 9 damage. So you drew first blood on this one, but he's still up. All right. Sting, it is your turn.
I'm moving up, drawing out that fancy dagger, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot with it.
Let me just check. I think that hits. Yep, that'll hit.
Well, then I won't bother with the reroll. Let's see. And sneak attack for another 9.
All right. Still up, but just kind of again as that dagger seems to cut right into it, and it lets out a really like nails on a chalkboard screech as you bring it down to the ground, and it immediately turns its look at you and it's trying to peck at your feet.
Yeah.
Dane, it is your turn.
Okay, so this worked out really well for me the last time I used it. I'm going to grasp my medallion and cast Toll of the Dead on it.
Absolutely.
DC 13 Wisdom saving throw.
Makes
Aw,
it.
boo.
Anything else, Dane?
I don't think so. Nobody's taken real like a lot of damage yet. So
Galileo, it is your turn. You're muted.
He's going to fire another arrow.
All right.
I think I'll just use the starry form one and see how that works here.
Okay. 16 will hit.
Okay. Um,
All right, 6 points, and then go ahead and do your starry form damage. Kogo, thank you for the subscription. 27 months. Appreciate that. And that will take out the last cockatrice. Your arrow goes sailing. I don't know what does the starry form do? Is there like a little stardust trail that like follows that arrow as it goes ziffing off across this field?
well, I turn into like a constellation, and I emit light at the same time.
Okay.
And I have, I guess I have some resistance to some things while I'm in that form. But
Cool. All right, so you are out of combat. The mystery solved as to what petrified this knoll. But yeah, the threat has been exterminated.
just glad it wasn't a basilisk. I hate basilisks.
I should have put some basilisks up there on the roof.
Well, Callie's going to, now that we're out of combat, Callie's going to point to the piece of cloth and the medallion that is in the Knoll's hands and point out that it's it has the same insignia as what we saw in Veltor. Well, maybe Albrecht is nearby.
Possibly.
So Snurb would like to go into stealth and approach the house. I assume there's windows that he could peek in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you sneak up to the house, kind of listening, keeping an eye out. You kind of creep up there to the window and peek up over and in, and it looks pretty like trashed. Like the furniture has been kind of like kicked around. There is like a big table. This is a very simple cottage, maybe two rooms. And you're kind of looking into like as you approach the front of the house, kind of the main like living area. There's a hearth, and you can see there's like a black kettle that is sitting there, and there's just kind of like dried food stuffs, kind of almost like nobody has been here to bother to clean after that last meal, whenever that happened. On the table, there's a table that's centrally located in the room. And you can see there's a little bag there, and it looks like there's a couple of bedrolls that have been kind of laid out in the room. Maybe 3. You see 3 in total.
Can Dane check out the amulet? He's going to use a bolt to look at it. Not
It's
actually touching it or anything.
Yeah, it's not petrified. It's exactly like the one that Veltor was wearing, the symbol of the old faith. Um, and yeah, um, you've seen other folk in town wearing this. So likely it is probably from either somebody from Hamlet or one of the farmers out here. Most people that grew up in this area worship the old faith. Saint Cuthbert is kind of a newer faith to the people here.
Yeah. I guess he'll take it and I don't know, maybe it belongs. There's no markings on who it belongs to, or
Nothing so personalized, no.
okay.
We'll flip back over to Snurd, who's looking into the house there.
Anything in there, Snurd?
There's some bedrolls.
Like squatters?
There's I guess about 3. So somebody was in here.
Does it look safe to go in right now? Or does it look like they might be still around?
Snurd, the only other room that would be in this cottage is probably like a small bedroom. And the door is closed to the bedroom, so you can't see into it. But there are no, like, the bedrolls are laid out flat. Like, there's nobody sleeping in them. There's clearly nobody in that first room that you're peering into. And just a quick hello, Silver Red Fox Gaming. Thank you for the follow.
Dade's gonna put his arm around Cherry, and ask her if she wants to go in with him.
Heck yeah. Jerry's gonna just walk up to the door and try it.
It opens, and there's sort of a foul smell of like spoiled food, very, very clearly coming over from the cauldron that's sitting over the hearth, and so there's just sort of that, I don't know, old dorm room smell kind of to this place.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's way too visceral.
And as you're looking at these bedrolls, they're not striking you as the kind of thing that they're very filthy bedrolls. Haven't been washed or cleaned in some time. You see,
So should we go in?
Yeah, Kelly's gonna walk up and say, "Oh, if there's no one in there, we should just go in."
Cherry, as you move in, you see everything that Snurb saw from the outside. There's the one thing that hasn't been like overturned in terms of like furniture and such is the table in the middle of the room, and there's a bag there that's sitting on the table.
Can I investigate the bag?
You go up to the bag,
Okay.
and it seems to be. I kind of open it up and take a look inside. It's a bag of coin. Looks like you spend a few moments counting it out. It's 23 gold pieces and 19 silver.
Hey guys, we got more money.
That's always good.
Dane is gonna go listen to the closed door, see if you can hear anything inside.
Make a perception check. You don't hear anything on the other side of that door.
So anybody opposed to me going around back and seeing if there's a window I can look in?
Feel free.
Yeah,
don't-
go
I
ahead.
don't hear anything in there though.
Snurb.
So
Yeah, absolutely. You go around to the back side of the cottage and take a look in. There's like one window that looks into that bedroom, and there's a pretty simple looking bed that looks like it's been vandalized in some way. It's kind of resting right on the floor, kind of falling apart, and you could see two distinct piles of bones kind of heaped up in the corner of the bedroom. It's a like kind of simple furnishings in here. It's a simple farmer's home, um, but it looks like probably their remains are sitting there in the corner. It's not gory or anything like that. They've probably been dead for some time.
So I'm gonna Snurb will walk back around to the front and go, it's clear.
All right, Dan will go in.
Arthur, we can base, do they look like they're more human size, or do they look like they're longer, like a null size?
They look probably humans, like a medium humanoid. Definitely not as large or with the bone structure of a gnoll. So you walk in. It's again just very simple furnishings. The broken down bed. There's a dresser in the room.
Well, who wants to help me bury these poor souls?
I'll help. I can bury him.
Does anybody have a shovel?
No.
It
Can
is.
you look-
Let me see.
Look
is
around
a-
the farm and maybe
yeah.
find a shovel.
Yeah, easily. You go out. There's the old the pine wood barn that you saw in the background. If you head in there, you'll find all manner of like kind of farm materials and tools, and a shovel would be among them.
But
Okay,
be more
we're gonna
perceptive.
bury them in the old ways if I know them. If not, we'll bury them as a dwarf would be buried.
Let's see. I feel like this check has come up before, but I'll let you do it again. You can do a religion check. So you spent some time amongst the locals in Hamlet, and you've talked to them a little bit more, and their tradition for dealing with the dead is that they do basically a cremation, and then they take the ashes from the cremation, mix it in with some soil and some seedlings, and they plant a tree with it.
Okay.
So that'll be a bit more involved than you'd be able to do quite out here.
So no funeral pyre.
They won't really know.
We could
Wow.
start with the burial and come back to deal the full burial rites. At the very least, keep them
Yeah,
from
yeah.
being mauled by animals and whatnot.
Well, they're just bones. So
They are just bones.
I suppose we could just leave them, and when we get back to town, send some people out to
I think
deal
that's
with their
the best-
bodies respectively,
I think that's the best idea.
and then we can continue on. I do want to look in the dresser to see if there's anything in there.
You find that there's some clothes and such in there. Give me an investigation check as you're kind of pouring over. There are still clothes and such in there. And you're kind of rifling through the stuff, and you don't see anything that really stands out as notable to you.
So what's the gold and silver amount that I found earlier again? I forgot to write it down.
Let's see. I think I said 23 gold and 19 silver.
All right. Anything else we want to do in this place?
Do the perceptive types ones help me see if we can find any kind of tech doors?
Yeah, I'll make sure that they didn't miss any of the, hidden floorboard kind of things.
Yeah. Investigation check, and the two of you kind of tag teaming that. Can have help on that. Have advantage.
Oh, that's intimidation, not investigation.
Okay, 15. So okay, yeah, the two of you working together. Sting, you find underneath the bed. You kind of push it aside a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you do pop up one of the floorboards, because that's where all of the villagers of Hamlet hide stuff
Hide all their stuff.
in floorboards in their homes, and it is well documented in the module. So you are able to find. Let me just look it up real quick. You were able to find in there, must have been their savings of 39 gold pieces, 12 silver pieces, and 79 copper.
Mm. All right. Well, they did still have some goodies about them, so. But they are clearly not here now. Shall we? Well, did this so part of coming here was to locate some guidance as far as where these knolls might be. Do we see anything other than the petrified knoll out in front that is, giving us a better direction as to where we need to go?
If so, you've got the basically the indication that some gnolls had been holing up here. So this was probably a coming and going spot. So certainly, looking for tracks could be a thing. I'm open to other ideas you have about clues that you might want to, skill checks that you'd like to do to try to pick up on clues.
So if they were held up here, um, when we found the other location, the other farmstead where we found this map, there was, like I said, a map there. Um, is there any sign of any sort of like correspondence or paperwork that the Knolls might have that gives a direction as far as what they were to do here and where they were to go from next, kind of a thing?
You don't find anything as on the nose as that map that you found at the original
Hmm.
Knoll House. Um, it Given that the sack of gold was left there, the bedrolls were left there. You may be drawing the conclusion that they were coming back to the house, and then were maybe attacked by those cockatrices, and decided they're gonna leave their buddy there and nope out of this area. So. Um,
So not likely. Um,
So Snurb would like to do I guess a survival check to see if he can figure out which direction they went from here.
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me that survival check. And basically, you with your 14, heading back over to where the original petrified knoll is, you do pick up some tracks. They're they're sort of faint. It probably it hasn't rained here recently, but it's enough of a lead that you feel like you've got sort of a direction. And so, in the grand scheme of things here, I'm going to throw us back on that overland map. You are sort of getting the sense that it's heading directly west.
Okay. And we traveled about half our daily allotment getting to this point, correct? Looks like
think-
4 grid.
I think you've done 4 hours of travel thus far.
Yep. Cool. Shall we go directly west, following the trail left by the knolls?
Sounds good.
Yes.
And if I did 1 day's random encounter rolls already, so that's we're zipping through this. If we go beyond that, we'll have to take some time to do some hour by hour rolls. I'm gonna move you ahead the direction that you're kind of being led by Snurb. Hour 5 right there, and hour 6, hour 7 right here on hour 7, and it's about 3:30 or so. You are climbing up. You're in the hills proper now, and so you climb up to the apex of one of them and look down into a valley. And from this location, right where you stand, you can see some distance, and in the distance, probably 3 miles out, you can see a small settlement. It looks like a ring fort, built up kind of on a very small sort of rise, just enough to give it a little bit of a defense, but it is just ringed with unfinished timber and a rather looks like a rather simple sort of gatehouse. And you probably can't make out people or figures. You're just seeing the settlement. That's all your naked eye would be able to see from this distance, but it seems likely, based on the tracks that you have and the direction that they were leading you, that is probably where the gnolls are coming from. So I think it is 8:40-ish. This might be a good spot for us to take a quick, maybe like 10-minute break, and then we can come back and see what you want to do about kind of scouting this out. So thanks everyone in the audience for hanging out with us here tonight. Seems like we got quite a few people hanging out with us, so that's awesome. Thanks for the cheers and such. We'll be right back in just a moment. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're just a little bit north of our mid-session break. So if you're just joining us, I see my screens. I gotta get people back in my Zoom. I forgot to say that whenever we turn off our cameras on Zoom, it shifts us all around on my
Shuffles
overlay.
us around. Yeah.
Yep.
You have to lock it out, I think, to make that not happen.
All right, I think I've got us back. So our heroes have gone out at the bequest of Lord Rufus, trying to find the base of operations of the gnolls. He has some fear based on some intelligence that some of the adventurers, some even in this very party, had brought back, that there might be a large attack coming their way. And so he sort of sent them out to be sort of scouts to try to collect any information that they might be able to about the gnolls, their numbers, where they're located, where they might be coming from. Anything that they can gather would be useful to him. And so they we're coming up on, it's probably late afternoon at this point, and they've just crested a hill and are looking down into a vale where there is indeed a small fortification, a ringed fort of timber logs that surrounds a number of buildings. You can see probably even from the distance away, you're probably 3 miles away, but from your vantage point on this hill, you can see it in the distance, and there's not a lot of visible things that are visibly obstructing your view. From your vantage point where you're at right now, you can't see gnolls or you're not close enough really to quantify them. But you do have a pretty good survey of sort of the region and the area. Certainly you could get closer just on foot, but you'd risk being seen if you tried it out into the open air. There are a number of other hills in the area, most of them pretty bare as well, though. And so, they'd give you a good vantage point down into the fort. But you'd have to take some care and take some precautions to not be spotted by a scout within the fort. The other option would be that there is a sizable wooded area to the south of the fort, and many of the trees there are these large oaks. And so you could tread into the woods and see about trying to get a vantage point to scout and spy on them from there. Or there might be other ideas that you have about how you might go about this.
I'm a fan for higher ground, but only if there's going to be some cover involved. I think our forest is probably our best bet to get a view in without risking too much being spotted.
I will try and hang back because it seems the rest of you are pretty stealthy, whereas I am not. But
Yeah.
feel free to holler if you get in trouble.
I mean, Hopalong there might not be terribly stealthy, but that's okay. She's pretty good in a fight, so. Does anybody have any other ideas?
What does the inside of a frog look like?
It's gross and not pleasant.
Smells pretty horrible too. If by the way she smelled it when she came out of it is any
I was a bit terrified from the being crushed by the damn thing.
Luckily, you're in the opposite direction of the marshy lands, so whatever giant animal thing might swallow you up here, it might not be a frog, but it's probably will take on some other manifestation.
So whatever Callie is trying to decide what adventure we're going to go on, it's always away from the marsh. Well, shall we hit the
woods?
The woods then.
So, probably you'll want to go a little bit out of your way to get there. So you're probably looking at another 2 hours travel just to make sure that you're not within eyeshot of the fort. But you are certainly able to do that as we hit sort of evening time. The sun is beginning to set, and you can start to see the silhouette of the two moons overhead as we're about to make the transition to nightfall. You make your way to the woods, and just within sort of the tree line, it is thick and overgrown, and so you're making your way into the underbrush here. But there are areas where you could maybe kind of lay out some of your bedrolls and such. You probably are going to be scouting this for some time, maybe for a number of hours, and so feel free to maybe plan out maybe watches and things like that. But there are definitely a number of trees that would be tall enough for one or more of you to climb up and maybe perch up and keep eyes out on the fort. Then you might also need, this woods is sort of uncharted territory. Hard to know. You probably don't want things sneaking up on you and such either. So watches on the ground might not be a bad idea either.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch from the ground since I can't climb up the trees.
Yeah, I'll take a point up a tree to scout out into the fort.
You'd never catch a dwarf in a tree. I'll stay on the ground. And I'd prefer to take the last watch.
So, what's y'all's opinion on maybe me trying to sneak in close once the sun goes down, give them a while to get drunk or get tired or both?
Keep in mind they have dark vision as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you feel comfortable doing it, feel free.
And once, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm pretty darn stealthy, but it's always a risk.
And once you get a report from maybe some of those up in the trees, you'll have a better sense of if you are going to do that, maybe like the best way to try to sneak up closer. So it sounds like we've got Sting up in a tree. We've got Callie and Dane are thinking they're going to stay close to the ground. How about Cherry and Galileo and Snurb?
Galileo's gonna stay on the ground. He's so big that climbing trees is not a good idea.
Okay.
And he's not super stealthy either. So he's best to leave it up to the others.
Okay. So down kind of where camp is being set up, you're down there with the others.
Yes.
How about Cherry?
Cherry will go up a tree. Take
Okay.
any chance to climb a tree.
Sounds good. So we got Sting and Cherry up in the trees, and how about Snurb?
Snurb is gonna stay on the ground and try to find a bush or underbrush or something like that to kind of hide out in.
Sounds good. So as we're making the transition into nightfall, let's see. Cherry, give me a perception check. And Sting, you have dark vision as well, so give me a perception check also.
What's it? 16.
All right, a 16 and an 18. Are you all able to see the map that I just shared, even though your tokens aren't on it?
Yep.
Okay,
Looks
cool.
like.
So, a couple of things that you take note of. The whole perimeter, so it's raised up. The whole structure or the whole perimeter is built on a bit of raised up earth. Probably
It's like a landfiller plateau type thing.
Yeah, it probably raises it up maybe about just 10 feet, just enough that it would be make it a little bit difficult for anyone trying to climb, just freely climb up from ground level. And the wall around it appears to have some kind of be built up such that there's a platform on the other side that allows for patrols to ring around. And it looks like there are two gnolls that stay situated kind of at the front gate here. Your assessment is that that gate is really more or less just a something that they push open and close. No mechanisms or anything rigged up to that. So two that are posted up watching there. There's two others that just together kind of patrol around the perimeter and seem to be the eyes on the outside of the wall.
Okay, so total 4 guards.
Yeah,
guarding the outside.
total of 4 guards. You can see over here, R3 is a tremendous pen of hyenas, maybe 17 or so. It is they packed them in there, and just if you're curious about scale, each of these squares is 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Over, you see an interesting looking building over on the western side of the camp.
Is that R10?
R10. It appears to be built of flagstone, and it has it looks to be pretty well maintained. Doesn't strike you as something
No construction.
that is knoll construction. And there's an emblem that you see kind of over these double oaken doors at the entrance. If either of you are proficient in religion, either Sting or Cherry, you could do a religion check.
I am not proficient in it, even though I was trained at a temple. Poor life choices.
So that piece of info, the symbol is probably hard for you to describe because it doesn't really strike you as meaning anything. So it sort of looks like sort of oval-like. I'll say that.
Definitely not a symbol of Ouijas, is what you're saying.
No, it's not an intricate symbol, but it is something that is there, and your characters probably don't think anything of it, or maybe look at it as a flaw in the stonework.
Mm-hmm.
The other main building that you see is a what looks like a very large, maybe like eating hall or a meeting hall. Also, probably doesn't strike you as knoll construction, but there are clearly gnolls coming in and out of the building, armed as they are, and they seem to kind of mill about. This is all kind of your observations after your first hour of watch.
So the two kind of fenced in looking areas, R3 and R4, are those like stable areas, kind of like where animals would be kept, but they're not covered, kind of a thing?
Yeah, just like kind of like almost like
A pen?
a pen. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You can see there are some troughs and things that they've set out to feed the animals. I just need to find my note here. Because I forget what's in R4. R4. Okay. R4, you can see there is a giant hyena in that pen. So that one's sort of cordoned off from the others, and it is currently gnawing on a body.
All right. So
I'm sorry, which side are we on again?
That would be R. Do you see the pen that's labeled R4?
Oh yeah, but sorry, which side of the map are we located? Are we northwest?
You're not actually on this map because you're scout. You're in the woods. Kind of, you've climbed up in this giant tree and you're looking down. So you're, maybe like a mile or within a mile of the fort. So you're not in like direct visibility of any of these scouts.
We're to the south, right?
You're to the south, yeah.
Okay.
And so that's that. You can see this R9 here it looks like it was at one time maybe a grain silo, but that is completely like fallen in and dilapidated. The roof is collapsed.
Is it by misuse or was it actually like destroyed?
Make an intelligence check.
Intelligence check. 1 second. Do. No clue.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. But sizing up this R7 here is a barn. It also looks like it is. The roof has fallen in. The hinges on the door, the big barn door, have kind of got the door kind of crooked and it's barely hanging on. It just sort of looks like these farm buildings, just haven't been used or maintained. Whereas some of these other buildings, the more these stout stone buildings have been cared for or taken care of.
So they look like about 20% of the barns you see up in northern Wisconsin. Got it.
Do the rest of the buildings look like just living quarters?
Yeah, the rest of the buildings look like these stone huts. Most of them are still in good condition. You can see knolls coming in and out of them.
So do we get a gauge of approximately how many knolls are in this settlement?
After about an hour, your best guess. Well, let's put it this way: you're kind of sizing up the buildings, and you're counting like, okay, these are the residents they have. Maybe there's X number of beds in each one, and you come to like a final count that you think that this probably supports maybe in the area of 30 knolls.
That's a lot of knolls.
And then you can easily count hyenas. There's 17 of those, and then there's the giant hyena. And those
we're
are
gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah. If you compare that to the forces that the Burns Badgers, the mercenary group that Byrne and Rufus are employing, they have about 12 there's about 12 of them, and then the militia, who are untrained and probably not any good in a fight against a gnoll.
So there's Burns Badgers counts to about 12, and we count to about 6. So in theory, we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 24 of us against 30 gnolls, 17 hyenas, and a giant hyena. Or guerrilla tactics, and we try and lure out some of their patrols and
Yeah, that's what I
ambush
was
them.
thinking, is if we could bring some out to us in smaller numbers.
And if we maybe bring one back alive to be questioned.
Can anybody speak Null?
I'm sure Byrne has magic at his disposal. He could probably speak anything he wanted to if he really had to put his mind to it.
Well, that's probably true.
So this is probably the information that you size up in that first hour of watching. Next hour passes, and it is like fully dark out now. And anything that anybody is doing differently other than continuing to watch?
Just gauging them by their activity patterns. Are they primarily nocturnal, like kobolds and the like are, or are these they can see in the dark, but generally they work in normal daylight hours?
It doesn't seem that activity in the fort has slowed down at all now that it is dark out. And so, you you don't get the sense that they like skim down to like the graveyard shift or anything. Like the patrols are going around like normal.
But they don't
Activity
necessarily
within
ramp
looks.
up in the nighttime.
You haven't seen any change in activity in that way, no. And again, it's still probably early evening, and so it's not quite super late. But while you're up there, you do notice something that happens over by the church like building. You see that the doors swing open, and a knoll kind of gets almost like tossed out, and you can see the knoll has a big claw mark down its face, and its body looks like it has endured a little bit of physical trauma as well. And you just hear this like hyena like laughter, this cackling from inside, as that knoll that has incurred those injuries kind of limps away and moves over, and just kind of sits down in the dirt, sort of with a sort of pouty look on its face, as it sort of like holds in and grimaces in pain. It just kind of sits there and sulks near that main hall.
That's interesting. It seems like it's, well, I mean, they've never pictured me to be terribly loyal, but to I will pop down from the tree and then, pass along the interesting little tableau that was put before us onto the rest of the folks on the ground.
So you figure like discipline?
Discipline, or the leader, it feels like that this knoll failed them and so therefore punished them.
So discipline.
A little bit less discipline, a little bit more torture. It actually kind of looked like.
Perhaps he was one of the survivors of the cockatrice.
Possible.
Cherry, make me another perception check.
I'm 11.
So you still see something. If you had rolled higher, you would have seen it further out. But you notice that there's a horseback rider. Most of your attention was on the ring fort, but right as it's closing in, a human on horseback, cloaked, rides up pretty close to the front gate, maybe about 30 feet in front of it, and pulls out a red silk handkerchief and starts to kind of whip it around over its head. And the gnolls at the front gate seem to like nod in some kind of a knowing gesture that they understand what that means. And nobody speaks a word, but the rider begins riding off the same direction that he came from the east.
That's suspicious.
So while you were up in the tree, did you see any place that looked like a holding cell or a holding pen or place likely to have prisoners?
Prisoners, no, but I saw kennels. There's a dilapidated barn. Maybe they might use that for holding cells, but I doubt it. The church.
Are we thinking that gnolls would take prisoners?
I think gnolls will only take prisoners if they're looking for a sacrifice or looking for, Meals on
maybe
Wheels.
maybe to ransom them. I haven't
Uh,
heard any of that in town.
Yeah, ransoming is more of a orc or goblin sort of a thing. Gnolls are a little bit more about,
It appears they might
snacks.
use any prisoners to feed the big hyena.
Yeah.
So what do you think the chances are that the body the hyenas
chewing on
is that guy's buddy?
Yeah, probably. Pretty good chance.
Let's not hope for the worst.
Yeah, no, but it's not looking great for him. So I think our best bet is if we want to try and get somebody to question to bring back to Burn, we need to try and gauge their patrol pattern. And
I also wonder how often that rider comes. Maybe we could capture him.
also possibility. We would have to probably position ourselves better for that.
Yeah.
So from what we're seeing, the position of this ring fort looks to be about where the circle and X is on that crude map that we have.
Yeah, that
correct?
you would believe that is definitely what that was marking.
Okay. Well, without the existence of a better map, we'll just mark that as confirmed. The the X that's past Hamlet, but not to the woods. That's about where the house is where we found the map. Correct. In that kind of marshy area.
The one to the east.
To the east, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't know that they'll be sending any more patrols up that way, but they might be sending some back from the woods. Maybe doubling back past the that particular house. We can try and ambush some raiders there. We can try and just go to the east. Maybe they were going to send something back to the cockatrice house. And then if not, we can see if we can't keep an eye out for that rider. Does that sound feasible? Now, when you say he came out from the east, do you mean along that path leading back to Hamlet, or like east, direct east?
So there isn't really a road that leads from Hamlet to like this location.
Well,
but
path
definitely the path that's marked on the map. Like he would have been riding through, there's these different dips in the valleys. So he would have been coming through like one of those spots to the east. And at some point, at this point, after this conversation, he's well behind one of those hills and hard to discern where he's headed. At this time, let's see. Galileo, make a perception check. During the conversation that you've just had, you hear the roar of a bear somewhere further into the woods. And with a 20, you also hear what sounds to be that kind of high-pitched skittering noise, that giggling babble of the gnolls.
Well, sounds like we might have some potential capturees.
Galileo is very concerned, especially since the recent demise of a different bear that he remembers that died at the hands of one of his own party members. But so this sounds to me like a bear is at is being surrounded by gnolls. At least that's what he.
It's a pained roar that you are hearing.
Yeah, he's sounds like the bear is at the mercy of these gnolls, and he's gonna tell the other party members, if you were trying to gather a knoll or two, this might be the opportunity to catch a few gnolls away from the fort.
Yeah, we only need one or two, but I think you're right. Shall we?
All
I
right.
like it.
What direction did you hear us from?
Further to the south, further deeper into the woods that you're currently in.
Let's go.
All right, and you're all heading that way. Cherry coming down out of the tree at this point.
Yeah, I could hear all that, right?
Yeah, they're like right
She
underneath you.
she comes down. Hey guys,
Where you going, guys?
Where you guys going?
I just
Cherry,
got
we might have an
comfortable.
opportunity. Come follow.
Hey there, try to keep up, huh?
I will try and since we're traveling through the forest, I will try and keep to the trees and go from tree to tree to avoid detection and let the heavy armored, noisier folks take the
Which
brunt
is
of the
basically
attention.
just me.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. Kelly does keep tripping over things, so
I'm walking straight after being half eaten by a frog.
Sting might not have too much knowledge, but I've walked through the forest with a cane before. I know how it works.
Does I think as you're traveling now, and we'll give you all a little bit of dim vision just because we do have some starry skies above, so not complete darkness. Can you all more or less see, like within the radius of
Within
your
a
sight?
radius, yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you're progressing forward. I put you on the map here, and we're gonna right here go into an initiative order. Give me just 1 second. And go ahead and roll your initiatives.
Oh no.
Ooh.
And Alex, I'm going to use Tides of Chaos.
Okay. Look at all
There's
damn
a lot of
dice.
dice rolling out there.
They're just piling up.
How many is in this group?
All right.
Looks like there's a lot of gnolls.
There was a whole lot of GM colored dice rolling out there. Yeah.
Snurb, you are up first. Up ahead is very loud, the sounds of this roar, and it's almost like this gnoll-like laughter. You can just feel the cruelty. You can visualize it in your mind. These gnolls probably harassing and just loving the torture that they're inflicting upon this bear. You can't quite see them yet with your vision, but you would sense kind of in this direction as you're coming through the woods.
All right. Gonna move over here. And I'm gonna take a shot.
Yeah, so as you move up just a little bit, you can see the back of one of the gnolls, spear in its hand. It looks like it's kind of it's holding it like forward. It's not actively like stabbing anything, but it's holding it forward almost to like kind of corral something. And just 10 feet behind him, this giant hyena, standing easily 10 feet tall on all fours, just like that giant one that was penned up at the fort, that you heard about. It seems like you can see it's actively clawing out and biting at something that is probably just out of your sight right now.
All right. I'm gonna take a pot shot at this guy.
Sounds good.
Thanks for the raid. I'm Butterbee.
Oh, we got some raiders. Hey, Wily Hobbit, thanks for the raid.
The wagons.
All right, a 16 is going to hit. Go ahead and roll some damage. And that will be 9 points of piercing. Nicely done. All right. Next up is Dane Battlehammer. And you get into the fray there, and you can see this black bear. Number of claw marks and bite marks on the scruff of its neck. It looks like it is just barely standing up, but it's trying to go toe to toe with the hyena while the others watch in amusement.
Dane's gonna run up with his crossbow in his hand and yell at the gnolls. Hey, not really a fair fight.
And crossbow in hand, you take a shot. That will hit.
I'm gonna hit the hyena.
The hyena. Okay,
Yep.
absolutely. And that is 2 points of damage. All right. Anything else, Dane?
Nope.
Galileo, it is your turn.
All right. Galileo's I'll try and move. I think he can move up to about here. How do I uncheck this damn thing?
In the upper
Uh,
left-hand corner, click on the head and shoulders.
I don't seem to be able to move my character.
Do you have a window? If you're in Windows, use Control and then use your left mouse click to click away for the measurement. Then release everything and hit the space bar.
Sorry, I deleted it because I was playing around too. Do you have your token selected, Cliff?
Yes.
Can you just click and drag it where you need to go?
No. I got this measurement on there. I'm trying to
You
get the
gotta
measurement.
click on the square up at the top left-hand side.
Yeah, I am clicking on it.
So you see the little like person icon? You've got that highlighted upper
Yes.
left, and then you've
The
got
measurement one is highlighted as well, but I can't seem to get that one unhighlighted.
So click on the broken box, what looks like the crosshairs instead.
The one that's right next to the person figure. If you hover over it, it'll say select tokens.
Okay. Thank you. All right, I move them up here.
All right, you have a clear
And-
sight.
And I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Guiding bolt. Where's that landing? Hyena?
On the hyena, yes.
Cliff, did you get a dog?
Did I get a dog? No.
I don't know. I wasn't sure whose it
No,
was.
that was mine.
Oh, it was yours. Okay.
And here I thought that was Birdie. It sounded like a small dog.
Yeah, that could have been him.
Hmm.
Need help with the guiding bolt?
Where's
Do you have your sheet open? Go to spell book
yeah. Okay.
and
Cast spell.
then hit attack.
Oh crap.
You have a reroll.
I will use that.
All right, hit attack again.
There
All
you
right,
go.
Better.
that's a hit. Who are you hitting?
The giant hyena.
Hyena. Okay, go ahead and roll damage. And next attack roll made against that target has advantage. So 16 points of damage.
And I'm also going to yell at the bear. Help is on the way.
All right, Callie, you're up next.
All right. Ellie is going to take her reduced movement of 20 feet to.
The others may not have heard me say it because I roared like a bear to make the in bear speak.
So he understands you? Sure.
Yes, yes.
I
think Galileo just turned into a Wookiee.
move there. There we go. All right. And I'm going to cast oops, I don't know if I see the hyena yet. Oh yeah, I do. And what's the distance on cast bolts? So looking at that distance, definitely will hit it from there. So I'm going to cast bolt as a giant hyena.
You have advantage on that too.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, and Jenna just redeemed buy everyone a reroll. So y'all get another reroll.
Damage. I'm just going to roll it and then dice through the dice roll. So 15 if I have advantage.
Yep, you got advantage from the guiding bolt. So this me just I think that hits. Yep, that'll hit.
That'd be, it looks like a total of 10 damage, so lightning damage plus 1.
All right. Is there an extra effect on that?
The extra effect. Oh, there's a 5. So the 5 would be. Oh, that would be the lightning.
Oh, I see. It's
It bounces if the two 8-siders are the same.
yeah,
which
and they're
they are.
not.
okay. Got it. All right. Very cool.
But then, because I did use Tides of Chaos, and I cast a first level spell, would you like me to roll for Wild Magic
Yes.
Power?
Let's do it.
Right.
Surge. How close am I to him?
41. Right, 41. You turn it. Oh, great. I turned into a potted plant.
He's a ficus.
Mhm.
I'll find it in D&D Beyond and paste it in the thing here.
All right, there's a potted plant on the field. And we turn to the bear. Bear is going to make an attack. Let's see. It gets 2 attacks, one with the bite and one with the claw. So first up is the bite. Is going at the hyena. That'll hit, and I'm just going to roll the claw here quick. And a
Ooh.
crit. Wow.
Way
That
to go,
bear.
bear.
15 points of damage on the
Nice.
hyena. And with the claw damage, or the bite damage in there, that's going to take it out with all the damage that you've inflicted on it with spells. So as it's hit with the guiding bolt and the chaos bolt, the hyena turns its attention towards you all, and then the bear takes its turn and grabs hold of it, rends its teeth right into its neck, and drives it to the ground.
We rallied him.
Guess the bear
Cherry.
didn't need our help.
Cherry, it is your turn.
Okay. Just going to run up as far as I can. And grab it. Sorry. One minute, please. Up to there and see what I see.
Yeah, from there you can see this wounded bear has just taken down this giant hyena, and there are 4 gnolls that are now not giggling and laughing so much. They've all got spears in hand, and they're kind of trying to back away just a little bit from that bear who's looking to turn its attention towards them.
Does it cost an action to try and pull a different weapon out of my bag?
Nope. You can interact with an object on your turn, and if you want to pull out like a ranged weapon of some kind, absolutely.
Okay. All right, then I'm gonna pull out my javelin. And let me just double check I can reach that far. I think it's exactly 30. Yeah, and then I'm gonna aim for that closest gnoll.
That one right there.
I believe so. Yes.
And he's injured already, so maybe a well planted hit.
Let's see. Oh.
And then you can just hit that attack button in the chat. A 16 will hit. Then you can hit the damage button. Seven points of damage. He's not looking too good. He's still on his feet, but he's got a javelin sticking out of his back. He hasn't yet had a chance to turn around to address you all. All right. Next up is one of the gnolls. It's going to be this one right here. He's going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, getting away from the bear, but spear in hand, he just comes running right towards you, Dane, and makes an attack with the spear. And that is going to be a nat 1. I've got my Dave hooked me up with a reroll. We can't have that nat 1 land.
Oh,
Bad things will happen. Let's see.
Weak.
Okay, a 10 will be a miss, but I don't have to roll on a fumble table, so that's worth it. All right. Next up, this Knoll that just got the javelin in the back from Cherry. He's going to move towards you. 5, 10, 15. He'll be smarter about that. He'll stay away from Dane. And take a swing. This is with the spear. 16 to hit, Cherry.
That hits.
That hits? Okay. Damage is 7 points of damage.
Oof. Mm.
All right, Sting, it is
She
your
didn't
turn.
rage, right?
No.
Okay.
I will move to here, and then I will. I'd like to help the bear out, but that looks like it hurt. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna target that one with a short bow attack. And
Seventeen hits.
All right. I'm just going to go ahead and add the plus 1d6 for sneak attack onto this roll.
And that will do it. That brings him down.
All right. That is the end of my turn.
Thank you.
Next Knoll is up. This guy right here. He braves it. He steps forward. He's going to take a swing at the bear. Which he hits and deals damage. 10 points. The bear, as it gets struck, starts to recombobulate and morph into the form of a druid. A druid that at least 2 of you have seen before. Sting and Callie, you had seen this kind of skittish, very unwanting to kind of deal with you fellow on the road who just let you by without a word.
Does he look like he is still alive, just unconscious kind of thing?
He's still conscious, but he looks pretty rough. This is a battle that maybe has been happening. It took you a little bit to get here, and so he's looking pretty rough, but he's still on his feet.
Okay.
And that's it for that Knoll. The other one here is going to step up and try to take a swing. With his spear.
Ugh.
Ooh, he hits. And that is going to do enough damage to bring... Now he's down.
So in death saves. Or
Yeah.
is he dead? Okay.
He's he's a powerful enough NPC that he will have death saves.
Okay.
Snurb, it is your turn.
all right. Snurb Move up. And give a little jab with his rapier. Hmm. 16 hit.
That'll hit.
All right.
For 9 points.
And
Just a little side note on that last knoll. As soon as he stuck the druid and dropped him down, he is immediately using his rampage ability, running towards you. 15 more feet of movement. He drew in a little bit closer there. All right, so 9 points from Snurb as you slash, stick him with the pointy end.
It's not letting me do my sneak attack for whatever reason.
Okay, that's okay. Why don't you just use the little dice, the simple dice roller off to the left, and you could just chuck a d6 in there. So 5 more points.
Thank you.
And he's still up, but another well-placed shot should take him down. Dane.
Dane is going to pull out his warhammer and bring it down on top of this poor fellow's head.
Ooh, that'll do it.
Nice.
And he's using 2 hands, so I'll use the versatile.
And you bring it directly on top of his head and spike him into the ground. He goes down.
Okay, and then I'm going to charge at the other one. And use my war priest to smack him as well.
$14 won't quite do it.
I will use a reroll. And hope for better. Oh. No better.
That'll bring us to Galileo.
Galileo's going to cast Cure Wounds on Callie here, I believe.
Or are you trying to do that on Cherry?
Cherry.
Cherry, I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, Cure Wounds. All right, so Cherry, you're taking 8 points back.
That'll probably put you back at full health, I think.
Not quite.
Oops. Not quite. Yeah, I think it's 13. Thank you, Galileo.
Sure there. No, I'll move up here.
Sounds
And
good.
I'll say, remember, we need one alive.
Callie, you're resting comfortably in your new life.
I pop back into no longer a potted plant.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I pop back at the end or the start of my turn, correct?
Yeah, start of your next turn.
Okay. So I'm going to pop back up to being a tiefling. I'm going to curse this wild magic. I'm going to walk 10 feet over here. And I'm going to cast Firebolt on this guy up here. Well, I don't think I have advantage, so 12.
Unless you use Tides
12.
of Chaos.
Oh, I had Tides of Chaos. Oh, yeah, I could use Tides of Chaos. I'll do that.
Okay, just roll me another one because it's advantage, right? Or is it a reroll?
This is advantage.
Advantage.
Because
Just
Tides of
roll me
Chaos
a,
would be-
yeah, roll me another one for advantage, just because.
16
16 will hit.
or 1 full lightning damage.
Wham!
Oh, wait, that was Shocking Grasp.
That was Shocking Grasp, yeah.
Oh. Take the
Keep the
damage.
16 and take the 3 fire
3 points.
damage.
Yep. Perfect. So
That's my
first bit of
turn.
damage there. Cherry, it is your turn.
All right. Cherry is going to rage. I'm not sure how to do that, but we'll figure that out. And she's gonna, let me just measure that. She's gonna book it up next to Dane. Just trying to turn on rage. Okay.
I don't know exactly the best way to do that either. We can just kind of mental math. I can get that extra +2 after you hit on your
Okay.
damage.
I tried turning it on. Supposedly it's on. We shall see. And I'm gonna swing with my. I'm gonna yell at the gnoll. Why you gotta be so rude? And then swing with my battle axe or my my hand axe.
22 will certainly hit.
Uh-huh.
The gnoll is trying to backpedal, but you're too swift, and your roaring charge as you bring this hand axe into his face deals 7 points in total, I think. Right?
Looks like it.
Yep. So nicely done. He's still on his feet as we turn to Sting's turn.
So, can I pop up to there and then stab down at him from the rock?
Yeah.
All right, I will do that. Draw out the fancy dagger and take a stab at him. I did that on D&D Beyond. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Let's do it this way. Attack.
That will hit.
Damage with an extra 1d6 for sneak attack. Oh, not minus 1d6. Plus 1d6. Whew, 13.
All right, you jump up and with the style points and all, manage to gouge him right in the eye. Withdraw your dagger, and he falls backwards.
As a bonus action, I do a little dance. And my turn's done.
One gnoll left. And he is going to try to book it. Gets to right there. Snurb, it is your turn. Noel just ran to the north, hopped off the ledge, and looks like he's in quick order going to try to try to weave in between the cover of these trees. You probably have about 1 round to be able to get him, before he'll be very difficult to see and hit with ranged.
So I don't have few of them, huh?
Let's see, where are you at? You're right here.
Yep.
Not currently, no.
Guess I'll make it a dash then. If I dash, I can still take a shot with the short bow, correct?
Did you have to dash to get there, or was that just regular movement?
Yeah, that was a dash. I got little legs.
Let's see. Do you have cutting actions level 2?
Level 2 is when you get
Yeah.
cutting action.
So no. No, I guess I'm done.
Dane.
I don't see him. Or can I?
Let's see. Do you see him? You do see him from right there.
Oh. Okay, I will cast Toll of the Dead on him.
All right. DC 13 Wisdom. He does not make it.
Is he taking damage?
He's taken damage. Oh, no, he has not taken damage yet. That'll be 6
Now he's taking
points.
6. And I am going to heal the Druid.
All right. Healing word action on him. 7
7.
points. All right. He is no longer in peril. Galileo, it is your turn.
Uh, all right, I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt again on him.
Sounds good.
Let's see if I
A 7 is not going to do it.
I'm going to do a re-roll.
Okay. $18 will. Go ahead and roll damage.
We've got such awesome viewers that get giving us rerolls like this.
14 points of damage. He's still on his feet. However, 14 is above his halfway point, so he's got to do a con saving. Con saving throw on that. Because we're using a variant rule, the shock damage.
Ooh.
And he fails it. So he goes. No, he doesn't necessarily go down. He's got to roll a d10. Oh, a 7. He might be somewhat okay. All right, the effect on a 7 is. Creature can't take reactions and has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of his next turn.
Not that great.
Not that great in this situation.
Nope.
Callie, it is your turn.
Kelly is going to run 20 or move 20 feet that way. I still can't see him. I was going to try to cast thaumaturgy and create a thunder sound from the other direction, trying to make him stop in his tracks, but apparently I can't do that. Unless he's out of range. So instead, I will cast thaumaturgy and tell him to stop.
Okay. Sounds good. You don't get the sense you still hear him running. Cherry, it is your turn.
Okay. Do I get the sense that the gnoll beside me is dead, or?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Okay. It's like keep going forward as far as I can, man.
I tried, but he put his eyeball in my way.
That's fair.
Hmm.
Don't think it's gonna make it. No, and I'm too far out, so I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Last chance is going to be Witch's Sting.
I moved to there. And he's still lit up from the guiding bolt, isn't he?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep.
In that case, I'm going to shoot him at advantage with my short bow. How do I shoot at advantage?
When you hit the attack button, it'll ask you.
It gives the option. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. There it is. Advantage. Oh, I'll take that 18. And you know what? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and take it. I was about to say, we've got these rerolls. I should use them, but I'm going to just go ahead and take the damage. Add in the 1d6. Oh, are you kidding me?
It's enough. He goes down.
Oh, okay, good.
So we're at 10:02, and so we'll just do like kind of a summation of what happens here. I won't RP this all out, but the druid will sort of be flabbergasted a little bit to see you, Galileo, and he'll probably make some comment that your friends murdered his good friend, Ronnie the bear. But he won't hold that against you. He got the report from the crow. This is all stuff from a previous session that you had nothing to do with it. So, but he talks a lot about elemental evil is what he keeps saying over and over again. That the cults have been reactivated and they're active again in the region. It's all gibberish to you all. You don't really know what he's talking about. But he says the gnolls are in league with them. And they're marching tonight on Hamlet. And he says that he knows that there's corruption within Hamlet. There are forces within Hamlet that are going to help them.
Well, that's not good.
Hey, we kind of figured that because we've seen somebody, a human, signal them.
He says it's going to be imperative. There's still time to do something about this, but it's going to take your actions to do so. There are still friends in this area that remember the last time. He'll make mention that this isn't the first time that this has happened, that it's happened before in this region. Some 50 years ago, the cults of elemental evil were active in this area, and they were defeated, but they were only defeated because gnomes, elves, man, and others came together to put them out. His suggestion, he's going to give you a couple of options. Probably the easiest thing for you all, based on location, would be to go and seek out, yet tonight, if you can, push yourselves towards exhaustion, to go and enlist the help of the gnomes of the Free Assembly of the Kron Hills. They're sort of scattered, but they do have a central location that they sort of have a seat of government at, that you could go and try to persuade them to come to Hamlet's aid. Another option would be he's willing. He's very concerned about this threat, and he himself plans to go and try to enlist the assistance of the elves of the Gnarly Wood to bring some backup. But the other thing would be the people of Hamlet are totally in the dark about this. I mean, Rufus has some idea that a Knoll attack is coming, but he doesn't know the fuller picture of it.
So are the gnomes more on this side of the travel from here to Hamlet? Or are, because the Gnarly Wood is all the way past Hamlet?
Yeah, the Gnarly Wood is on the east side of Hamlet. He's able to shapeshift, so he's going to take flight and try to reach there. He thinks that he's got the ability to get there.
Okay, and then the gnomes are on this side of Hamlet?
Yep, you're
to the south.
You probably travel a few more hours and you could make it to, I think it's called Niceville. Nicevale.
Huh. Sounds
So he's
like,
going to warn Hamlet?
I think he's going after the Gnarly Wood to try and get aid there. Is that what you said?
Yep.
And we're to warn the Knolls.
No, we're gonna try and enlist the aid of the gnomes
Gnomes. Okay.
against them.
I could probably shapeshift and go to the gnomes and get there faster as a horse.
Well, I'm thinking maybe you need to go to Hamlet then and warn them,
That would probably make more sense.
because the rest of
Whichever
us are
way you
not
want
going
me
to
go,
be
'cause
able
the
to get
riding
there.
horse has a speed of 60 and could get there faster.
The
We could
distance
take
between
care of
where
the
you are.
gnomes.
Yeah, exactly. Like the gnomes will be closer to where you currently are. So if you're going to have someone with a faster speed try to get somewhere, they're going to want to book it to Hamlet.
Maybe take one of
Maybe
us.
take Callie, since she is the slowest of us.
That's a good idea.
Okay, that'd be fine.
All right. So I think I want to keep some of this a mystery as to successes, as to what happens in the interim, because probably our Friday night crew this week is going to have to bear the
So for the
brunt
fallout
of the fallout. So we might do some rolls off camera here throughout the week just to see what might happen with outside intervention. So, and plus we're at our time here. So thanks everyone who came out to hang. Yeah. Some of them are watching. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Monday night for our Temple of Elemental Evil. Ranger Harley, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I saw you were watching there. Appreciate you stopping by. This is a drop-in, drop-out game that we run with our community at 20 Sides. So there's a fair chance that you could come and join us for a game sometime. Please do come and join us in Discord. Come hang out with us in between the streams. And that's where you'll be able to find signups for these games when I post them. So come join us there. Yeah, so we're going to sign off here. Let's throw a raid over to... let's raid Laugh, Love, Lindy, call it a night. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all soon.